Forced removal. One of the most bitterly debated issues on the floor of Congress was the Indian Removal Bill of 1830, pushed hard by then-President Andrew Jackson. Despite being assailed by many legislators as immoral, the bill finally passed in the Senate by 9 votes, 29 to 17, and by an even smaller margin in the House. In Jackson's thinking, more than 3 dozen Eastern tribes stood in the way of what he saw as the settlers' divinely ordained rights to clear the wilderness, build homes and grow cotton and other crops. In his annual address to Congress in 1833, Jackson denounced Indians, stating, "They have neither the intelligence, the industry, the moral habits, nor the desire of improvement which are essential to any favorable change in their condition. Established in the midst of another and a superior race, they must necessarily yield to the force of circumstances and ere, before long disappear." From 1830 to 1840, the U.S. Army removed 60,000 Indians Choctaw, Creek, Cherokee, and others from the East in exchange for new territory west of the Mississippi. Thousands died along the way of what became known as the Trail of Tears. And as whites pushed ever westward, the Indian-designated territory continued to shrink. Mankato executions. Annuities and provisions promised to Indians through government treaties were slow in being delivered, leaving Dakota Sioux people, who were restricted to reservation lands on the Minnesota frontier, starving and desperate. After a raid of nearby white farms for food turned into a deadly encounter, Dakotas continued raiding, leading to the Little Crow War of 1862, in which 490 settlers, mostly women and children, were killed. President Lincoln sent soldiers, who defeated the Dakota, and after a series of mass trials, more than 300 Dakota men were sentenced to death. While Lincoln commuted most of the sentences, on the day after Christmas at Mankato, military officials hung 38 Dakotas at once, the largest mass execution in American history. More than 4,000 people gathered in the streets to watch, many bringing picnic baskets. The 38 were buried in a shallow grave along the Minnesota River, but physicians dug up most of the bodies to use as medical cadavers. The Sand Creek Massacre. Indians fighting back to defend their people and protect their homelands provided ample justification for American forces to kill any Indians on the frontier, even peaceful ones. On November 29, 1864, a former Methodist minister, John Chivington, led a surprise attack on peaceful Cheyennes and Arapahoes on their reservation at Sand Creek in southeastern Colorado. His force consisted of 700 men, mainly volunteers in the 1st and 3rd Colorado regiments. Plied with too much liquor the night before, Chivington and his men boasted that they were going to kill Indians. Once a missionary to Wyandot Indians in Kansas, Chivington declared, "Damn any man who sympathizes with Indians. I have come to kill Indians, and believe it is right and honorable to use any means under God's heavens to kill Indians." That fateful cold morning, Chivington led his men against 200 Cheyennes and Arapahoes. Cheyenne chief Black Kettle had tied an American flag to his lodgepole as he was instructed, to indicate his village was at peace. When Chivington ordered the attack, Black Kettle tied a white flag beneath the American flag, calling to his people that the soldiers would not kill them. As many as 160 were massacred, mostly women and children.